Bill, didn't have to read between the lines what you were saying with Baker Mayfield drafted by the Browns here. So do you feel any better or worse today?
Well, what you said about, it usually takes 3 years to determine and evaluate a draft class, and I guess he'll be sitting behind the renowned Tyrod Taylor in learning this year. But for this benighted franchise, which has been a disgrace to the name of the Paul Brown, Bernie Kosar, Otto Graham, Jim Brown franchise, to have taken another potential Johnny Manziel with the flaming wreckage of the Manziel era still fresh in everybody's minds. And I thought Manziel was really had it and would be serious about his pro football career. I was completely wrong. But I just, the guy's 6 feet tall. Is he going to be Drew Brees? Is he going to be Russell Wilson? Well, only if he can subdue the punk part of his behavior. Yeah,
but he's different than Manziel because I think he's better prepared to go into this situation to be a pro quarterback.
I mainly cover Ohio State these days, and I understand youthful impetuosity. I was young a long time ago too, and planting the Oklahoma flag in the sacred block O. And I didn't go to Ohio State. I went to an SEC school. I went to Vanderbilt, but it was. It was revelatory of the immaturity that's always followed the guy, and maybe it's just that I grew up in Texas, and I have difficulty making my fingers tap or my mouth say nice things about Oklahoma players. I don't know.
But if you didn't have the Manziel hangover, would you feel a little better about Baker Mayfield?
No, because they could have taken Barkley at number one, although, I don't think I went through this with Trent Richardson, who was a complete and total bust, taking 3 or 4 spots higher than Jim Brown, and was a running back.
Yeah.
But if they had taken Barkley, they still could have gotten one of those 4 quarterbacks. Mayfield better be lights out, Now, I think Barkley, Ohio State certainly game planned the heck out of him, and he didn't have a very big game against them, although they put up a lot of points. He had a great kick return and one great run from scrimmage, but he had 20 carries for like 41 yards other than that from scrimmage. But, if you're not just totally sold on a quarterback, and obviously they were, Barkley was the guy to take because you were still going to get one of those guys.
Yeah.
And they need a quarterback. They haven't had a quarterback since they came back, really.
Well, I would have taken Barkley 1 and then taken my chances of worst-case scenario, Sam Darnold, or you get your guy in Baker Mayfield. And
yeah. I actually like Rosen better than any of them, but yeah. I'm going on the word of friends out in the West Coast who see a lot of games out there, I saw Darnold in the Cotton Bowl, and he put up big numbers, but, he made critical mistakes, too, threw a pick 6, and he didn't have any protection, got strip-sacked and beat up in the game, but – I would have liked Rosen better, and then Darnold probably, and then just based on the Manziel experience, on what perceived character, maybe the Wyoming kid over Baker Mayfield too.
Talking to Bill Livingston, Cleveland Plain dealer, joining us from Indianapolis. Pacers and the Cavs coming up tonight.
Yeah.
What do you?
An actual athletes playing a real game. That's not a big non-event where you try to project things.
Yeah, it's not a mock game coming up tonight. It's actually an actual game here. How concerned should Cav fans be about, even if you get past the Pacers, of what you've seen so far, or is there any? Yeah. I mean, how concerned are you?
Well, Dan Dockich had me on his show before the last game here, and I said there's absolutely no evidence that the Pacers are scared of the Cavs in the slightest, nor should they be. They should be very confident. They could have won. They could have swept the series much more easily than the Cavs could have. We knew LeBron would be without his second, number 2 option with Kyrie after he forced a trade. We didn't know that Love was going to be this reduced by the injury to his thumb, which is the only thing I can figure. I mean, he had a pretty good year. Love's shooting 33%, less than 33% from the floor, and he still gets the rebounds. I mean, he's still a player who will contribute. He's not one of those guys where if he's not making a shot, he's going to kill you. But I was looking at the stats. LeBron's got, 35 points a game. The rest of the team does not average 60. And, he has almost as many assists as the rest of the team. He has more free throws attempts per game than the whole rest of the team. His shooting percentage is close to 20 points higher than the rest of the team. I mean, this is like the 2007 team almost. Now Love is a better player than anybody else on that team. That was one of the worst teams ever to make the finals. But if you were here for that era, it does bring alarm bells off, reminding you of those days.
I just can't see LeBron looking at that roster going, "Yeah, this is where my home is for the next 4 or 5 years."
I know.
Right?
Dan, a lot of people read into his emotional comments in the press conference when he leaped up on the scorer's table after hitting the three, and at the press to embrace the fans' cheers. And in the press conference afterwards, he said, "They know me. I've been here for 11 years. They remember my high school career." Well, maybe that was Auld Lang Syne too. I can't see it either. And I, for one, and I was very hard on him when he left the first time for the way he left and the way he played in the series before he left against Boston.
Yeah.
Right now, he's a lot more mature guy. I've developed a great deal of respect for his courage and the things stands he's taken on social injustice, and for the charity work he does in his hometown of Akron, which is massive. And he brought a championship here. I would just say, man, it was a gas watching you play. Have a great rest of your life. And I have seen polls, not scientific ones, but I've seen polls where 75% of respondents felt that way.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't know about the bitterness in Cleveland. I remember trying to go talk to Pat Summerall when he was still doing golf at the old World Series of Golf. And I don't even remember what I was going to talk to him about. And he came down out of the elevated stand behind 18, and I was talking to him, and some fan yelled, "You were lucky on that field goal, Summerall." It was 1958. Welcome to Cleveland.
Yeah, hey, don't forget. Hey, Bill, have fun tonight. Play nice.
All right.
And
all right, Dan.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you.
That's Bill Livingston, Cleveland Plain Dealer. I still like that tweet. Those who do not learn from their mistakes are doomed to be the Browns.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.